It's Kral Space. I'm Kim Kral. My voice is all crackly. Oh, fun. I'm back in the world, guys. So I'm supposed to say, I'm reporting to you not live from my closet. This is Kral Space. I'm back in the world. So, when you haven't really talked a lot, like, I've talked a lot. I guess I talk a lot. Which brings me to, I started a new job, right? The bar job. It's going okay. I don't know. I'm finding myself freaked out about shifts, or if this girl likes me, or if that dude likes me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's 2011 again. Do not care about this. Like, don't care about this. But I think it's just because I'm out in the world again, and it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. And restaurant jobs are very high school cliquey, and I think all jobs probably are high school cliquey. I remember I used to work at a bank years ago. I worked at like an online bank, so it was like a big office. Like, it was so weird. I had to wear like it wasn't. We were supposed to wear suits every day, or like what is it called? Business attire. I was like, dress up? No, that's like a prom dress. But like business attire every day. And I found these yoga pants that kind of look like slacks. So I just wear yoga pants every day. And now I look back, I'm like, they totally knew that I was wearing yoga pants, but no one ever said anything. But even then, I don't know. Maybe like even then it was like a high school environment. Like I've always said that a high school, like, life is like high school. High school just like helped you prepare for how cliquey and catty life might be, and like to get you to just not give a fuck, right? I remember like at the bank I would eat by myself, like our training class, and then I've made friends with a girl in the training class, and then she and I would eat, but then like the popular crew would all, and they didn't like me. And the funny thing is you look back, I don't know how to put this, because I know I'm very likable, and I know like if I say like people don't like me, my listeners, my friends, you guys are gonna be like, no, we like you. But I mean, like, I don't know how to put this. A lot of like insecure people don't like me. Oh, that sounds really shitty. Because how I know this is like this bank job, the quote unquote popular kids, didn't like me, or they like, it's not that they didn't like me, but they didn't want me to like sit with them. Yeah, they didn't like me. I was trying to be like, they liked me. No, they didn't really like me. But years later, they all follow me on Instagram. They like all my shit. I don't follow them back. I'm like, you guys were kind of shitty back then. But so like, it is like, I don't know. I feel like everything I'm going to say next, it's like, remember that story I told you about my beginning acting class in college, and how I got into the acting emphasis program, which was really difficult to, like, one of the top in the country at the time, and was really difficult to get into at my college, and none of my beginning acting class people got in. I was the only one. Now, in their defense, I did really just fuck off in that class. I'm going to take a deep breath. I did just really fuck off in that class. So like, they didn't ever see me as a good actress. They just saw me as a girl that just fucked off and flirted with Nathaniel. Oh, Nathaniel. And then nobody else got into the acting emphasis. And they didn't like me before I got into the acting emphasis. I'm just different. And so I'm just, I'm just different. I speak my mind. I shine. I shine, bitches. Just kidding. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, they went and they like protested. They protested me getting into the acting emphasis, and like tried to like overturn the decision. It didn't work. It did work with my self-esteem that made me leave. I told you guys this story a couple weeks ago. But so I'm finding myself in the same predicament, and it's just like, I just have to just not give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, this job is not the end all be all. And I made it up. Like, I get in my head and I make up. Yeah, that's why I'm going to take a deep breath. Do you want to take one with me? If you're like running around and just like really stressed out, let's just take a deep breath. I just haven't been present. I feel like it's 2011 again, and I'm just like worried about what my 22-year-old coworkers think of me. And I talk a lot. I do. Oh, that was the point of the beginning of this. I talk a lot, and a kid that I work with, who actually I adore, I really like him. He's a really sweet, he's like 23 maybe, I don't know, but I think I made up that he's 23. He might be like 28. I don't know how old he is. I don't know age. I don't know, like, just like But he goes, I said something about I talk a lot, and he goes, no shit. And I was like, do they already know I talk a lot? Like, I was trying to hold back. But I do talk a lot to tables, and that, oh God, okay. I don't want to spend this whole podcast talking about but I'm just out in the world again. And I don't know, for those of you who haven't gone back out, like some of you had to stay out the whole time, so you're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. Like some of you, were essential workers, hospitals, grocery stores, all that stuff. So you were out the whole time. You never isolated. And those of you who are still isolating, like in lockdown quarantine, which is what I almost wish I was still doing, but it is nice to be making money again. It's nice to not rely on the sociopaths in our government over their massive disagreements and whoever they have in their pocket. Like, you know what? Like, it's just so insane, but it's nice not to like have to worry about that anymore. Like, that's not out of my control. But now that I'm out in the world again, it's such an adjustment. Like, I'm saying the weirdest shit and I'm just so uncomfortable. And I'm like convinced like all my coworkers hate me. I have no basis. I have no proof of this. Nothing has happened. Nothing at all. I mean, they're all like best friends. It's like cliquey. It's like high school cliquey. But I never fit in. I've never fit in. I've always marched to the beat of my own drum, and which usually means I get a lot of really rad people want to be in my corner. The people who also march to the beat of their own drum. And it is really funny. There is always one like if we use the high school diagram analogy, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There's always one popular girl who secretly likes me but doesn't want. It's just like, oh yeah, we're pals, but like, don't tell anybody that I really like you. And that's not what's happening here, but it's definitely really cliquey, and they are really young. And there is one girl that used to work at Big Wang's, and like, I can't remember if I used to bully her. I never bullied anybody. I just like, she works hard, and she's not stupid, so I can't picture me being mean to her. And I wasn't mean to anybody. Wow, let me rephrase that. The girls that didn't like me at Big Wang's were the ones that were lazy and kind of dumb. The lazy ones especially, because it was just like, I'm not going to run around. I'm not going to do your whole job for you while you sit on your phone. So, and I speak my mind. I guess I needed to get that out. I don't know. So I'm really tired. My body hurts because like I'm waiting tables because there's no bar. So it's just like one bartender and then everyone else is like going out into the tables. And when I was working at the other spot, I was like, hell no, I'm bartending. That's what I want to do. But I think it's just because it was a different environment. It was just like a gross North Hollywood environment. No offense if you live in North Hollywood, but you know what I'm talking about. I was like, I don't want to go to those tables. This is just like more of a classy place where people won't grab at you or yell at you. They kind of do still. It's so weird. Can I have a public service announcement? If you are going to restaurants and you're not getting the quick service you are used to pre-pandemic, and you think they're really understaffed. Yeah, they're really understaffed because the business was closed for months and they're trying to stay open. So we on Monday night, we had 4 people working, a bartender, a barback, or a busboy who was like doing everything, and 2 servers. And we did not stop running for 6 hours. Like literally did not. I walked 10 miles. That's a lie. That's a full blown lie. I did the 10,000 steps in 6 hours. Is that much? I don't actually know. It was it was a lot. Okay. It was a lot. I exaggerate a lot, but it was a lot. And so many people were just like, you're really understaffed. It's like, yeah, the business is trying to stay open. And also there's a fucking pandemic. Be grateful that people are risking their lives and wear your fucking mask. All right. I'm done ranting about that. But it is interesting. It's definitely an adjustment, and I'm trying to find balance. Because I know my ego is like, I should be bartending, but every other part of me is like, do you really want to waste more RAM on trying to like remember new drinks where shit is? Or do you like the waitressing is just like autopilot? Like I didn't even train there. They just were like, those are the table numbers. And I was like, cool, I'll wing it. And not that like bartending is like, cool, I'll wing it. But there's like 7 cocktails with each is like 0.25 this, 5 point. So my ego wants to bartend. My ego is like, I'm a bartender, not a waitress. But the the real part of me, not the ego. Like for you psychology people, you'll say it's like the id. No, I think the id's something else. Whatever. My true self is what I'm going to call it. Knows that it doesn't fucking matter. Like it doesn't, like, I just want to make money. I don't need to make friends. I want to make money. I want to go home and I have this that I'm growing. This is growing. If you could share this with someone you think might like it, it would really, really help me. I'm trying to get more downloads so I can get some sponsors so I don't have to wait tables anymore. You know what I mean? This is my, and if you like it, maybe share it with people. That might be cool. I think I'm going to make stickers too. And I have crawl space stickers on my website. Again, I have merch. I think I told you that a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty excited about it. I have this hoodie that says sweet and creepy, and I cannot wait for it to get cool enough for me to wear it. But I think I'm going to get stickers and just hand them out to my tables, because like a bunch of tables are asking about my podcast. And, well, they're not like, you look like you might have a podcast. I talked to him for a little while. The stand-up comic thing comes out, whatever. So I'm just trying to find balance. Anyone else, like, getting out back in the world is really overwhelming, especially since I've just been home alone for, 7 months. And getting back out in the world, like doing comedy. Have I talked to you guys since I did my last show? No, I didn't. Have I? Oh my God. That's way more important than I am going to try and make a vow. Let's see, make a time. Okay, I've been on here for like 10 minutes maybe. We're going to give myself every week 7 minutes to ramble about this dopey bar. Because it doesn't matter. And like I will, if I like placate to my the insecure side of myself that I've been working so hard on, I could talk for an hour about all the insecurities I have working at a new job and like freaking out. I mean, we all kind of secretly think everyone hates us, right? Even though, like, I know people don't hate me. It's so crazy. Does anybody else have that? It's just Jesus, man. Yeah. Well, like I said, I grew up with the two most important people in a person's life. They didn't care either. I mean, I know they loved me. They loved me the best they could, but when you grow up in that environment, you develop a voice in your head that tries to convince you you're not enough and that nobody likes you. So I've been actively quieting that voice. And now that I'm back out in the world, it's a little hard. It's not easy, but it's been a week, it's been like 2 weeks, but it's been like a week of consistently being around people, and it's just going to take some time. My Jehovah's Witness family told me they would listen to this or my comedy, and they basically were like, we'd love you more if. They didn't say that, but it was just like, you should do this and we'd support you. They told me they would support me more in my career if I was more like Jim Gaffigan. And nothing against Jim Gaffigan. It was really funny. I was like, oh, did you see his Twitter rant? And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, he like broke. He like snapped during the RNC, like snapped and like went on a Twitter rant. And a bunch of people were like, you just lost a fan. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. And they're like, oh my. So sorry, Jim Gaffigan. I might have gotten a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses not to like you either. But yeah, they were like, we tried to listen to 1 minute of one of your stand-ups or one of my podcasts. And apparently it took 1 minute for them to not listen to it. So my first stand-up was a week ago. I forgot. Like the time is so weird. It's just so weird. So my first stand-up, so it was really cool because I was really scared. I know I kind of told you last week that I was really scared because two of the comics were like national headliners, and then the other one is touring. He tours all over the country with national headliners. He opens for them. And so I was kind of the least experienced one, the least the career-wise, the underdog, I guess. And so I show up first. I'm so fucking nervous. I can't even tell you. It was like the very first time, like a virgin. It was very, God, I was so fucking scared. I was like 40 minutes early too. I was the first one there. The host obviously was there, and I come up, and I knew I was going to go first. Like I knew the host was going to do like 10, and I knew whatever minutes I was going to get, because, first of all, I've produced shows before, and yeah, I've been doing this long enough, and I could tell level of funniness and level of experience. I did get the last people wrong, but I swapped them. But I knew that I would be first. And I knew I'd be first because the one guy and I were comparable. We're comparable comedy wise. It's so funny. I try to like tiptoe around what I'm trying to say, but I do know that I was going to start because I am strong, but I'm not the headliner. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I knew I was going to be first, and I was like, all day, I just knew it. And I was like, just don't get in your head about being first. Just fucking. And the thing about being first is you set the tone for the whole show. Like, the host does, or whoever bites the bullet sets the tone. And it's not that like comics after if someone bites someone goes first and then they bomb, it's not like the comics can't come back from that. It's just like, it's a little bit harder, right? And so I get there and I was like, okay, I'm first. There's only 4 of us, including the host. And I'm like, how much time am I doing? And she's like, all of you are doing 20 minutes. And I'm like, fuck, 20 fucking minutes? I haven't done stand-up since March 11th. March 11th, the last time I did stand-up comedy. Like 20 fucking minutes? The fuck am I going to talk about for 20 fucking minutes, right? And I know I talk in here for like an hour, but like I can't stand on stage and do what I'm doing right now because sometimes I cry in here. I will say I have cried on stage twice. One time it was the day my dad died, so that's totally fair, and everyone in the room knew that my dad died, and it was like a booked open mic, and it was actually very beautiful. And then the other time, my boyfriend, remember Jimmy the Dragon, he had just broken up with me, and I was trying to make my Jimmy the Dragon jokes, but I was still sad, so in the middle of talking about it, I teared up. I think I cried. Yeah. Did I tear up or I cry? I don't know. It was like a middle ground of that. But I was like, fuck, 20 minutes, man? Like, I was like, all right, well, I guess. And then the other 3 show up. And Jen Murphy, who is one of the funniest fucking women out there, said she's like, 20 fucking minutes? And I'm like, I don't. All of us are like, fuck. And then Jeremiah Watkins, Sam Goldstein, those are the 4 that were on the show. And they were like, all of us were like, we don't have 20 fucking minutes. Like, it felt really good to be around these powerhouses that were also scared of 20 minutes, because it's just like we haven't done it in so long, and it's just like, so she's on stage and we're like, well, maybe we could ask if we could do like 15 or 12, like maybe 15, let's all shave off 5. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm gonna be up there, so I'm not gonna know, like I'm not gonna fucking know if you guys got her to go down to 15. So I was like, whatever happens, give me the light at 2 minutes, like when I have 2 minutes left. And I don't know if you're familiar with stand-up, the light is in the back when they give you, it's usually a minute light. Longer sets or headliners have different lights. Like a headliner sometimes will be like, give me, light me when I've been going for 45 or something. You know what I mean? It's all different. But like for the most part, it's 1 minute. But since it was longer, she was doing different lights. And so I was like, just light me when I have 2 minutes. So I get up there, and for some reason, I bring so much stuff. Well, 20 minutes to me felt like a fucking eternity. I was like, I'm going to get dry mouth for sure up there. There's no way I'm going to not get dry mouth. I ordered wine, and I was like, don't bring the wine up there because he'll break the glass. It'll be a whole thing. So I was like, bring the water up. And then I have my mask. I have my own microphone. Yeah, those are, so I didn't want to put my mask under my chin. I wanted to just take it off. So I was just like so freaked out about anything distracting me that I was just going to bomb. And it was there's probably like 30 people there. It was obviously social distanced. We all had our own microphones. It was super safe. She sanitized the entire thing every time we went up there, which is so funny because all the comics sit together. We're all sitting together without our masks on, but I don't know. I don't know the rules anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think we should just shut down for 2 months. The government should pay us all to stay home for 2 months, and we'd knock this motherfucker out. It'd be done. But now it's like, well, what do we do? Like, so we're all sitting at the whatever. So it's just funny that she wiped it down. I mean, it's what she has to do, but we're all sitting there anyway. But so I go up there and I look out in the audience. 10 seconds. 10 seconds it took me to get my first laugh. And then I was home. I don't know how to describe it. I was fucking home, man. It was just like, oh yeah, I own this stage. I don't own it. A good friend of mine, Justin Ruppel, he wrote this beautiful thing about the stage and how it's like a timeshare, and we don't own it. but we rent it for that however long we're up there, and it's our home. And I was home, and I was not like Jim Gaffigan. I love my family. It's like, oh, we would like to. I'm like, you will never like my comedy, ever. I will never be like my comedy. They're like, will you make us laugh without? And I'm just like, oh boy. But I was home, guys. It was. I did talk about my first date where the guy open hand slapped me in the middle of us fooling around. That actually, I think there's something there. I wrote a couple new jokes. The next morning I woke up, wrote a couple more jokes. It feels so good. It feels so good. And talking about this, thank you for listening. Because sitting in here talking about this just makes all the bullshit I've been worried about with this new job melt completely the fuck away. In 5 years, when I have not shared all my goals with you guys, but I will. But not now. But when I'm where I want to be, maybe not 5 years, who knows, a year, 6 months. Things are rapidly moving. It's very exciting. Whenever I'm part ways from this place, I'm not going to look back and be like, man, I should have worried more about what they thought of me. And talking to you about this thing that I love so much that I'm good at. It just makes all the other bullshit melt away, and it just makes you look at like what truly matters. So I'm making them laugh. I'm really making them laugh. Oh my God, it feels so fucking good. If you're a comedian and you're listening, you know what I mean. And if you've not gone out there yet, and you've only done Zoom and you're about to go out on your first live show, oh my God, you're home. On the flip side, I've talked to a couple of other comedians who went back out, did their first live show, and they've done, we've all, hopefully we've all, I hope you're in the camp of you did some work on yourself and were able to take this pause to look at your life and like what's important. A lot of us did. And I know some comedians who went up and was like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm a different human now. And it's interesting. And I commend, that's so brave to me, dude. It's so brave to me to want something all your life and then one day be like, oh, it's okay to change my goal and my dream. There's no shame in it. Because there's so much ego. You know what I mean? You don't want to admit to the world it looks like you gave up. And it's like, no, I found something else I love. Like I moved here to be an actress, right? And though I do sometimes like to practice monologues all by myself in my apartment, it's not the number one forefront goal. And I was talking to a family member, and I was like, well, I'm not really an actress. And she goes, well, you wanted to be one. That's what you used to want to be. And it's like, yeah, I grew up and I shifted and I changed. And I think it's okay to do that. Like if I tomorrow decided I didn't want to be a funny person anymore and I wanted to open a bakery in Des Moines, Idaho. Is Des Moines in Idaho? I don't fucking know. I think it is. I don't know much about history. I just smelled the microphone. I don't know why I did that. Because sometimes they smell and mine doesn't. So that means sometimes you'll be at an open mic and the microphone will smell. And I'm always paranoid that it's me. But it's usually some stinky dude. It's so good. So I'm up there. I'm making him laugh. And I brushed over that other thing and maybe we'll go back to it. But it's okay to change your dream. It's okay to change your course and change your mind and learn and grow. Fuck, I say this so often. Like, it's just like we like shame people if someone's ignorant and it didn't grow up around a lot. I grew up thinking abortion was murder, gay was wrong, and it's an illegal alien a lot. And then I went to college, and lucky, and I probably will say this story multiple times forever on the podcast, outside the podcast, in a book, somewhere, I don't know. But I just think, thank God when I was spouting off this ignorant hate, I was met with women. It was mostly women. I not that the men in my life weren't wonderful at the time, but I was mostly open with the women about how I felt about this. And I was spouting off ignorant hate, and instead of them being like, fuck her, like she's an ignorant bigot, like instead of doing that, they sat on the other side of the table with me. Now, grant you, I wasn't yelling like hate. I was just yelling ignorance. And it wasn't like, no, I'm never going to change my mind. So I understand there are some people that is just like screaming at a wall and you're like, I don't fucking care. But these three women sat on the other side of the table with me and was like, why do you believe that? well, can I explain all these other things? And so I just like, I think it's okay to change our minds. It's okay to grow, evolve. And I'm grateful that I went on that stage and it was still home, because I've never felt more comfortable. Like, I feel like I've been working my entire life to figure out I want to be a stand-up comedian. Like, everything I've done, every single person who says I talk too much, or you talk a lot. By the way, everyone talks a lot. As a person who talks a lot, it means I notice when people talk a lot. I'm also a very good listener. So a lot of people out there talk a lot. And most of the time, the people who say you talk a lot, they talk way more than you talk. But I've been working my whole life to find this dream or figure out my place. And this is the place. So I'm making him laugh, and she gives me the light. So I assume I got, 2 minutes left. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's already over. She goes, you still have 7 minutes. You can take the 20. And I was like, so they were lighting me at 12 or 13 minutes. So we were all only going to do 15. But she's like, you can take the 20. And I was like, I'm going to take the fucking 20. And I told my puke on dick joke. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. You can look it up. I'm not going to tell a joke on here. Maybe someday, but not in this moment. But I told that joke is going to evolve so wonderfully post-COVID. So wonderfully. Because I wrote more to it on stage. I write on stage. I've never been a person that sits down and is like, what is funny to me? I'll go on stage. I'll say something in the moment. It gets a laugh. I'll go home. Then I'll write it down. That's a lie. I don't write it down for a long time. I'm working on it, though. I need to start writing it down because I think I've lost a lot of material over the years just by not writing anything down. And then I did 20 minutes. I did 20 fucking minutes. And people laughed. And then Sam killed, Jen killed, Jeremiah killed. We all did 20 minutes and we all fucking did so great. Thank you, Melanie, by the way, if you're listening. Thank you so much for the stage time. And it was so great. And then we all did 20. And one of them came up to me and they're like, you kind of set the tone of the show. Like, if you didn't kill it, it would have been, it would have changed course. And it was just so great. And these two powerhouse comedians came with Sam, JC Kras. That's an inside joke between him and I. Is it? I don't know if it, I just can't say his last name. So I always go, Kras. He's very funny. And Ralph Garrow were there and they were like, you're funny. And it's just like, that's the funny thing. Like, as a comic, and I think this is pretty universal, I was more afraid about what the comics were going to think of me. Because the audience, I know that is something that I can dig up from, or some audiences are more conservative, but like the comics thinking you're funny, that's when, I don't know. And I'm trying to get away from that too. I'm trying to just go up there and just do my thing and just hopefully everybody laughs. But I came back and they laughed. The one thing that did happen that I want to talk about, was this woman came up to me afterwards and I was sitting with JC and Ralph and she was like, oh my God, you were so funny. And I was like, thank you. They're comics too. And she kind of looked at them. They didn't perform, by the way. She looked at them and she kind of smiled and was like, hi. And then she went back to me and kept talking about how funny I was. And then she left and JC looked at me and he goes, why'd you do that? And I was like, do what? He goes, she was complimenting you. We didn't even perform on this goddamn stage. Like, why did you deflect and put, because I think a lot of it is I'm not used to being around humans. So like, I already had a hard time accepting compliments before, or like love. I mean, I've talked to you guys about this, like accepting healthy, productive, wonderful love makes me want to crawl out of my fucking skin, because I grew up around chaos and neglect and abandonment were what I was told love was. So now, and it's just, the funny thing is, so when I've done all this work on myself alone, right? Not alone. Obviously, I've had like my 12-step group. I've had a lot of support, but I mean, alone, I haven't had interaction with humans to kind of like see how I'm doing with the work, if that makes any sense. And so now I am like giving a test run of, my new insides. And it's a little clunky, and that's fine. And that's because I'm a human, and it's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps, progress, not perfection, all that stuff. And yeah, it's still, and it's like now I'm out in the world and I get to try out this new Kim Kral, and it's clunky. It's really clunky. It's very chaotic in my head. I think that's why I bring up the bar world, is because like it's really chaotic in my head, like where it's like two voices. It's like the old voice and the new voice. And luckily the old voice is getting quieter, but it's still there. It's still like, they don't love you. They don't like you. You're too loud. You talk too much. She's not saying that you're not. She's only saying you're funny because she feels bad for you. Like that, like that running fucking tape recorder that I think we all have. I mean, hopefully if you do, you're also actively working on it, because whatever your tapes say, it's not you. It's whatever environment you grew up in, that it's whatever bullshit you were told over and over and over again. You're not enough. You're not good enough. Like all that. And you can get past that. It does take a lot of work. Like I told you, I look at myself every night in the mirror. I tell myself, I love you. You're enough. And I forgive you. Sometimes I'm naked while I do it, for the whole vulnerability thing, for the full acceptance of myself. You say that funny. I said that to the Jehovah's Witnesses and they were like, oh. I'm like, yeah. I stand and look at myself naked in the mirror and I tell myself I'm enough. But it was the thing about now being out in the world with this new voice is I'm hyper aware of the old voice. The old voice used to just be where I lived, like it was like, I didn't notice it because that was just the only voice, and that was just where it was. Like I walked through the world thinking that I was always probably wrong. No one probably liked me, and if they did like me, it's because they felt bad for me. Felt bad for me for what? It's anyone's guess. Growing up the way I grew up, one of the traits is I confuse love and pity. I tend to love people I can pity and rescue. So therefore, I think when people love me, they must pity me and think they can fix me. And that's just not real. That's not what love is. And so now I have now I'm hyper aware of this old voice, which is good. It's like it's program talk, but the 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, action. So now I'm aware of all of this. And I can't just jump right to action. Like I can't just jump to like shutting the old voice up. I got to accept it. I got to accept all parts of me. I don't know if this is a far cry from all the yelling at you for wearing a mask. This is a little bit deeper, but it was, you know what I'm saying, normal. And like the last few weeks it's hard right now. God, it's so hard right now. And the only thing we can do is just focus on our own shit and the shit that we can control, It is, I talked to a woman yesterday who I love very, very much. She is one of my best friends on the planet, and it's starting to get to her too. And then a dear friend of mine posted a thing where he was like, it's starting to get to me. We're just still in this pandemic, and the numbers aren't stopping. People are like, we passed 200,000 people dying, dead people. Like, and we still have half the country who thinks it's like a conspiracy and made up, which is so crazy. Can you imagine being that person? Can you, like, what does your life look like? Jesus Christ. And saying that like wearing a mask infringes on their rights. Like, it's just like, and with Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away, that was, oh man, I want to talk about that for a little bit too, but it's just like being out in the world again. It's hard. It's all really hard right now. So take another deep breath. If you're sitting here listening to all this, and I know my brain is like bees, right, Ray? Ray's a listener and an old friend. I'm not just calling someone Ray. But just like be really nice to yourself. It's a hard time, dude. It's a really hard time. Nothing's certain. Be nice to each other. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I sent a message to my cousin Maggie. So as I said, I grew up, my father was a misogynistic Republican who would say things like, she was nothing but a secretary. Whenever my period hurt, which they do, unless you're a woman, shut the fuck up about it. You have no idea what it feels like inside of us when that is happening. Basically, we have these bodies that prep to get pregnant every month. And then when we don't get pregnant, it just guts the inside of our uterus to then prepare to get pregnant again next month until it just guts. So just like, it's not pleasant. But my dad used to tell me, used to be like, don't be one of those women who complain about their period. Like, I mean, we've already talked about that man. He was a special man, to put it to be very nice about it. But, I had this cousin Maggie. She is the oldest, and I'm the second oldest. So she's like 3 years older than me, and I've always looked up to her. And she's always been very progressive, very women's rights, feminist, right? Like she's been on front pages of local newspapers for like protesting shit, right? Like she is just, she inspires me to. And when I was younger, I might cry. When I was younger, I had a lot of questions about, by younger, I mean, when I got to college and high school, even asking about women's rights and because she so adamantly believed in the freedom of choice and our autonomy over our own bodies. My dad just so adamantly didn't, and just like, we should know it's all murder, right? And so she would answer these questions and never shame me. And when I got to college and I'd ask her those same questions, we'd talk and we'd have these talks about, this other stuff. And like, I'm tearing up because I think that's one of the bad things about right now is that we don't ask enough questions. We're so guarded about not being right, and that it's just like, and she never did that. She never shamed me for my ignorant upbringing. And so after RGB passed, I just thought of her, and I thought of all the strong women that just like have like lifted me up over my life and like have educated me and has fought for our rights. And I sent her a message, and like, I don't know. The RGB death was rough, man. It was rough. What a cool fucking lady, right? What a cool broad. And the only thing we can do now is, I have equal parts. Really sad. This woman spent like her last breaths trying to fight for equality, and just grief. When the world loses a superhero, it's sad. And then I have equal parts gratitude. A lot of stuff I didn't know that she fought for. I can have my own bank account because of that woman. How crazy is that? We take that for granted. I don't know what I would do. I'd have to be married right now. With my track record with men, Jesus, who would I be married to? A Jimmy the Dragon, probably. He would blow all of our money. I wouldn't be able to I'd have like a mattress or something. I don't even know, but like. And then equal parts fear. I'm terrified of a world without a woman like that. Everything I'm reading about who Trump wants to replace her with, she's very scary. She wants to, one of the big things, and it doesn't really happen, is that church and state are separated. That's one of the big things that this country is like built on, right? I don't know if it's built on it, but it was, it's one of the big main things that we say. I mean, it blurs all of the time. All of the time it's blurred. But at least it's still there. She's like, I want to combine them and make this the kingdom of God. Or she said something wild like that. It's like, fuck. So equal parts scared. And the thing is like, I'm going to be fine. Like Kim Kral will be fine. I am nearing the age where birth control isn't any longer it's not me I'm worried about. And like that's the thing. That's what's so crazy about I think mostly our country. It's pretty common among people who live in our country. Well, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. That's empathy. You just described empathy. You know who else doesn't have empathy? Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy. People who cut other people up into little pieces. They don't have empathy. So like you being like, that doesn't affect me, so I don't care. Fuck you. Should that like seriously, that's empathy. Like dig deep inside of yourself and be like, oh boy, I just got a sometimes I get a text in the middle of my rant and then I have to read it because I don't think I have ADD. Maybe I do. Who knows? I've had many people in my life go, you for sure have ADD. I don't think so though, because I have every little story I still want to finish telling you by the end of this thing is over, and I always wrap it up in a little bowl. But yeah, it just, and then equal parts ready to fucking fight. Like I've never felt this passionate about an election. I'm got my application in to work the polls. Like, I think you just work one, not the poll, like a poll. Like, I'm not going to be dancing on election day naked. I'm going to be I can't say the word. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be volunteering to help people vote. There we go. Wow, that was very embarrassing. I also am, this is fun. Mark your calendars. October 3rd. I'm going to be posting it later today. I am producing 1 hour of a 12-hour comedy Zoom show that all proceeds go to Biden and Harris, every penny. So all you have to do, I believe it, you just donate something and you get to watch comedy. So I'm going to post a link. I've got some really fucking funny people on my lineup. I have Chris Porter, who Last Comic Standing tours the country. He's very, very, very funny. A woman named Carmen Morales. Two of my dear friends, Zane Helberg and Adrian Earhart, and then another dear friend that used to be on Dash with me, Black Pedro. Very, very funny lineup. It's 2 o'clock Pacific time. I'll be posting that later today. So I would love it. Even if you can't make the show, I'd love it if you donated too. Like, just donate, and every penny of it is going to go. Our goal is to raise $5,000. So, which isn't that much. That's the low goal. The tall goal is $10,000. And Maria Bamford is going to be on there. I mean, we're getting more and more big names that are coming for the 12 hours. So please mark your calendars. October 3rd, I will be hosting the 2 o'clock hour, and I've produced it. So donate, come, all of that. I'll be posting a lot more of it, and I will be probably annoying you with that next week too. But I'm volunteering at the poll. I'm hoping I am. I'm just like equal parts, like ready to just fight, man, and vote. God damn it, vote. I'm up for a dating podcast, I guess, like where they're going to set me up with some guy and we're going to go on a blind date on a podcast. I'm not really sure what I signed up for. I tend to say yes and then ask questions later, which is a massive flaw, but also gets me to have a lot of really fun stories. And they asked me what my major deal breaker was. And my major deal breaker was this a big hard line in the sand. Don't want to date a guy who does cocaine, even casually. Just don't. It's not the type of guy I want to date anymore. You all know that I have dated a guy who's done a lot of cocaine. Multiple guys who have done a lot of cocaine. So now that's the hard line in the sand. But this last couple of years, a guy I dated a couple of years ago didn't vote and thought it was stupid, but also I think was secretly a Trump supporter. Definitely secretly a Republican, and he's in the industry, so he was like, I'm scared to say how I really feel because I feel like I'll get canceled. It's like, yeah, because you're a privileged white dude who has opinions that are not real or right, like, autonomy and gay rights and all that stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But he didn't vote. And after him, I was like, that was the least sexy thing. I mean, there was a lot of unsexy things about that guy, but the least unsexy thing about him, and that's a deal breaker. Like, a guy who can't be bothered to vote. That's just, it's not, I don't know. I want somebody who, how did I get here? Oh yeah. So RGB, rest in power, lady. It's fucking, it just, you look at the, like, I was going to quote Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because there's, into each generation. I'll stop. God, I love that show so much. Oh boy. I don't even know what we talked about today. Yes, I do. My first stand-up show in 7 months. So fucking awesome. So awesome. I can't wait to do more. And I'm going to limit how much, unless it's relevant to self-growth or, and when you feel that way, I don't know. This morning I reached out to a dear friend of mine who's in my 12-step with me, because I was like spinning out over all these like 26-year-old kids not liking me at my new bar, right? And it was just like, oh, it's just that old voice. That old voice is just one, and it doesn't want to die easily. Like, bad habits die hard. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I got all into the voting thing again. I cried some. I feel like it's not a crawl space if I don't cry. Speaking of, it is not a crawl space if I don't do a little poop scoop. I might be out of pooping my pants stories. I don't know if that is something I'm proud of or ashamed of, that it took me 25 episodes, 26 episodes, 25, doesn't matter, to not have any more poop pants stories or plug toilet stories. So I'm going to need you to email me at KYMKRAL space. So the word space, not like, you know what I mean, right? KYMKRAL SPACE @gmail.com. Give me your poop your pants stories. Give them to me. I will say that the poop scoop I wanted to do this week, it is astounding how, okay, maybe not that many times, but more than once, I have had, okay, so I wear my fake eyelashes, and you know how I don't know if you know how I feel about them. I love them so much. I wear them. I love them. There's a lot of weird opinions about them too. A lot of people have offered, a lot more than you would think, have offered up their opinions on whether or not I should wear eyelashes in my adult life, which is just like, if I'm worried about me and you're worried about me, who the fuck's gonna worry about you? I saw that guy last night, actually, or 2 nights ago. He came into the new bar. The guy who said that saying, man, he's hot. He's so hot, still hot, but I was just sweaty and rambly. God, just no game on the Kralski. That's what I call myself, and I've been calling myself that pretty consistently my whole life, but quietly. In the last 7 months, I've been calling myself the Kralski out loud all the time, alone. And the other day at work, I went, well, the Kralski's pretty happy about that. And everyone looked at me and I was like, is this why no one likes me at the high school? Is this why I'm not cool at the high school? So a lot of people have opinions about my fake eyelashes, and I used to have like shame around them. So one time I was late for a show, not shame, but like shame that they're pretty, it's vain, right? It's like vanity. And like if you have too much vanity, it can be, it's deemed as shameful, right? Now I look at it, I just like to look presentable, and I like to take care of myself. Like I like feeling good about myself. Back then it was like, oh my God, I'm so vain. I like to wear my eyelashes. So I had an eyelash malfunction and I needed to pick up glue. I was late for a show, and I decided that it was less embarrassing to tell the producer of the show that I had shit my pants, instead of saying that I needed to pick up eyelash glue, or just like literally anything else. Like, there's traffic. Sorry, anything else. Instead, I text her and said, I'm going to be about 10 minutes late. I shit my pants. And she was like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. And I don't know why I told her that. As soon as I typed it, I was like, you could have said literally anything else. But it was less embarrassing to me to have pooped my pants than it would have been to be like, oh, my eyelash fell off. I got to stop at the store. That's the poop scoop. So I don't know if that's scraping the bottom of the barrel or if you enjoyed that or not, but email me your poop stories. No, I got 3. Oh, I'm burping now. Yeah. It's good to be like, the weeks seem really long and blended together, and I love doing this. I just love coming in here. It feels like I'm working out a bunch of shit that's just in my head that I don't know, that it's getting back out in the world is really, it's been a little difficult. The voices in my head want me to think everybody hates me, and that's really that's not embarrassing, but that's hard to admit. That's because I come off as, confident and self-love and all that stuff, but I'm still a human, and being around new people is still really, especially, the restaurant industry is just kind of catty. Most industries are just kind of a little bit of a petty high school place, and the best thing you can do is just keep your head down. Keep your head down, be confident and stuff. But the only thing I can do there is just like work, be nice, go home, make money, go home, keep focusing on my goals. It is not 2011, and I don't need this to survive. If I don't have this, I will get something else. And, yeah, so just be nice to yourself. A lot of really strong awesome people I know are starting to break under all this. It's starting to, and then there's no end in sight, like the election's coming up, and it's just like, who even knows what's going to happen after that? Like it's just such a crazy, uncertain time. And then we can't leave because we're banned from traveling to most of the other countries. I know that that's not funny, but it's so fucking ludicrous that it's a little funny. Like, Canada just announced that if Trump wins, that they're going to extend their travel ban to 2024. Like, that's crazy. Until he's out of office. Like, we're not going to be able to go to Canada. CNN told me that. I didn't read much more into it other than that, but that's crazy. So just be nice to yourself. This is a wild fucking time. This is and wear your mask. Dude, just wear the mask. I now am out in the world and I have to tell a lot of people to put on their masks because I'm working in a restaurant and a lot of people aren't. And the amount of people who go, like, who keep walking and say sorry as they're it's like, stop, put your fucking mask on. I'm going to snap. That place is going to get shut down. I'm going to be unemployed soon anyway. I said that quickly in the passing, but like, Football Sunday was a fucking shit show with masks and social distancing. Like, it was like a tiny example of why America is exactly where America is. Like, 4 groups of people didn't know each other, got real drunk. By the end of the day, we're all like holding each other, hugging, making out, like no masks on, like moving throughout the restaurant. They're now banned from the restaurant because they wouldn't listen to like the social distancing and fucking wearing their masks. But like, it was just like, oh my God, we'll see everybody in 2023. Like, no one is just like, fuck. I'm scared that if we have to go back into hiding, I'm going to snap. I already feel like I'm going fucking crazy. Wow, this was like a calm, and then I flipped out again. I want to end with, I am one lucky broad. I'm one lucky broad. I think I already said it earlier, but I am one lucky broad. We all are one lucky broads to have RGB, to be in a lifetime with that woman, to share the earth with that woman. I'm one lucky broad that I've had some incredible women in my life that have shaped my opinions, my views, my heart, everything. I didn't grow up with strong women figures. My cousin Maggie, of course, but she was not until we got older. Just because high school and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not saying that she's not. My Aunt Amy was a strong lady, but we didn't talk politics or any of that stuff. But I mean, I just didn't grow up with this like women's rights, feminist attitude with those type of women. And and I'm one lucky broad that I'm surrounded by these warrior women that are going to make a difference in the world and love me and call me family. And that's, fuck, man. That's just, I don't even know how to describe that. Oh boy. Every time I end this, I'm always like, should I delete this and start over? But I'm not going to. I don't know if it's out of the, I promised you I would never do that or lie, or if it's just sheer laziness that we've been in here an hour. My butt is definitely numb. And we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for listening. I am going to, I might have some news soon about more episodes, more content, I guess. Maybe I'm supposed to be on a call today to find out. We'll find out. Woo! But we got a new episode every Wednesday for now, noon. Please follow me on all the socials. I'm KYMKRAL. I have merch. Like I told you, like kind of a little bit in the beginning, I have sweatshirts, t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, a beach towel, I think. I don't know. Go to KimKral.com. You can get some fun, awkward, and awesome, sweet, creepy, I'm one lucky broad, or crawl space stuff. I would love it if you rocked some of my gear. I am so sorry I said that. I am not a person that is able to say shit like that. Rock some of my gear. Nope. I'd be really grateful and excited if you wore one of my t-shirts or stickers. Yeah, what else was I going to say? Follow me on Instagram. And if you get a second, please leave a rating and a review. I've kind of plateaued on that. So And I've gotten a little more 1-star reviews, which is a little bit of a bummer, but sort of kind of cool, which means I'm getting like we all, like the saying says, if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong. But I'm kind of stagnant on my reviews and my ratings. So if you get a second, it just takes 1 minute, go to Apple Podcasts, and rate, review. Leave a review. That would mean the world to me, and it just takes a minute. So please, and share this. Share it, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me work out all the wild crap that runs through my brain. It means so much to me, and it means a lot to me that a lot of you relate to it. So, until next week, hope you guys have a good week. Be kind, wear your mask, and bye.